Welcome back to another message crawler update. Today we're going to be doing some advanced deduplication. Without talking too much, let's go to my screen and just start doing it. Alright, so here I have message crawler and we have two sets of data loaded. One is all marked as duplicate, the other one only has some duplicates. But let's say we want to do deduplication ourselves. Maybe we didn't turn the option on, or maybe you've done some name normalization and you want to redo that. So let's go to all documents and clear the dupe status field. All right, so I'm going to clear that. I am also going to clear my hash value field because we are going to be regenerating hash values. So I'm going to say update, and now our hash value field is blank and the dupe status is blank. Now we can go to miscellaneous tools, generate hash value, and this is where we'll start. We are going to pick the fields we want to use for deduplication right here, and the fields you see in the database settings right here will be automatically selected when you enter the duplication tool. You want to set those fields once when you create a new database and don't change them. Or if you are going to change them, you will have to rerun the process, and you also want to leave those fields set the same way as you run this tool, so that when you add new data, it gets deduplicated consistently. Now, we can hash native files, but for our case, we don't really need to do that. I'm just going to skip that. We are just going to hash metadata, and we're going to put that into SHA-256 field. So I'm going to hit generate hash, and I can check my error log and close this. And now if I refresh it, actually I may not even need to refresh it, we'll see that we have our hash values here. So now we can use that to run our advanced deduplication. So the way this works is you can choose which set of data you want to work with. So we have two imports here. Let's say you loaded a second import. You can select just that, and you can choose what is the scope of deduplication. Do you want to deduplicate records just within that set, or do you want to do it within that set against the entire database? Now, in our case, we actually have both sets that need to be deduplicated. So we need to do it on the entire database. So I'm going to switch from the set, and I'm just going to say search query. And so this is all documents right here. The counts don't match because I need to refresh that. So we're just going to ignore that for a second. So we're going to select that. Our hash value field is here. Again, you can have multiple hashes based on different criteria. Maybe you want to do testing, some with names, some with message IDs, whatever you'd like. You can generate multiple hash value fields, and you can have multiple dupe statuses fields. So you can run this tool multiple times and then evaluate and see what field combination gives you best results. The next thing we need to do is attachment identification. So which record type is attachment. So this way, system just copies over the duplicate status onto the attachment. The attachment information isn't used in deduplication. That exists on the attachment level. That's why we have like fields attachment count, attachment names. Those can be used in process of generating hash value and deduplication. But here we're just saying which records to ignore and basically copy data over. And finally, we have our deduplication scope. Actually, not finally, we have one more thing. So in this case, we're just going to do selected set only. And then we can choose to limit by group. So what this is, we can do custodial deduplication. So we can say, okay, well, do it by, custodian, or maybe we can do by an import set or by PST name. So we can choose what group of messages to be looked at together for deduplication, right? We're not just limited to a custodian. We can do it by, well, any other scope. So this is what you can set up here if you need to. And now in the output fields or the tagging details, again, we can say what field we are writing to, And if the field's already present, you don't want to override that. Now, if you have deleted any documents that are marked as original, you don't want to use that. You actually want to clear this out and then start over, because otherwise you'll have all the records marked as a duplicate, right? You need to have original somewhere. So let's run this. And now we're saying, so we're getting a little bit of system information, like what query is being used, how many records it found, and then we see how many originals, how many duplicates, and how many records have no hash value, so you know those were not deduplicated. So let's close that. We're going to refresh that. Also, we're going to refresh this, so we get 94, because I know it bothers you, because it bothers me. And we see our duplicate status original, and then we have a status of duplicate, because we're like right at the halfway point, and I just loaded the same data twice, so it will be easier to demonstrate. And if you're thinking, why is this a duplicate? Well, we have a couple of joins on the same date and time, which is odd to have in real world, but I made up this data, so we have that. And that's basically it. This is how you identify duplicates. And then what you would do is say dupe status, and we're going to only include original, close this, export RSMF, or whichever format you want to use, or you can save it as a static set, and then the set will be saved. And that's pretty much it. This is how you can generate hash values and tag duplicates and then exclude them from export. Hopefully this was helpful to you. I think this is a major next step for message crawler. It's gonna help a lot of people in eliminating duplicates that we occasionally see, especially when data is coming from multiple phones. It's not as important for like Slack or Teams, where you will get just a few duplicates, not a big deal. But when you're dealing with forensic acquisition of different devices, you can have overlap of messages between iPads and phones and so on. And so this tool will help you eliminate that. Thank you for checking this message crawler update. I will see you on another.